Hey guys, so I'm Shima Shasner, and have you ever been at say like a restaurant or a family gathering, and you see a little kid or like your little cousin on a cell phone or a tablet, and they just don't interact with anyone, and they're just on the tablet, you know? Have you seen that? That kind of makes me mad, because then they're not interacting with their family or anyone, they're just stuck on the tablet, and it makes me mad, because the tablet doesn't teach them any like human connection or social skills. Like when I was growing up, I didn't grow up with the tablet. I got my first phone at what, 8th grade? I got my phone at 8th grade. Yeah, I grew up with iPods, but there were restrictions on the iPod, and I couldn't do much with the iPod besides text with Wi-Fi, and I couldn't really use it out when we were, out. It was just used by Wi-Fi. And I didn't really use it much because I knew there wasn't much use for it besides games and texting, so I didn't really use it as much as I use my phone now. But when I was growing up, I never used a phone at the table. My parents, yeah, they always bought toys, like little cars and stuff, or I just played with the utensils. But I never really had a tablet where I was stuck. And then my parents would be like, go like talk to your aunt or your family member, or I learned how to order by myself when I was younger. Like when I was learning, I learned how to order by myself. Like you can do it, and then they encouraged me how to order by myself. And now when I go to restaurants or places, I can order food by myself, and I'm not afraid to do it. And that also helps with public speaking and other social events. So, like I said, it's not right to have your kid use a cell phone or a tablet at such a young age, and here's why. It it can change the child and parent relationship. It can do this because the child becomes like emotionally attached to the phone and to that, and a parent's voice, touch, and eventually play can build pathways in their brain can build pathways in the brain that aid them learning, and they bond emotionally. So the tablet and the phone or whatever electronic device takes away that emotional connection from the parent and the kid, and the kid can become detached and won't really speak to their parent as much. And also, it can also become their first addiction, because they become addicted to it, to where they're like, oh, I need it, like I need it now. To where they always need it at home, or they always need it at a restaurant, because then they're used to it at a restaurant, or just anywhere in general. Like when they're with the family, just on their tablet. Like what? Sorry, you can't. It's not nice. It's rude. It's rude, and doesn't teach them any social skills or anything. But like I said, it becomes their first addiction, to where they're like, oh, it's okay to. They learn that it's okay to use it in public, like I said, at a restaurant or family events. They think it's okay, but it's not okay. And it becomes their first addiction, to where they're like, oh, well, I'm here so I can use it, or I'm at home so they always use it at home. That's why you have to limit the time, put time restrictions on it and everything. And then also, if they use it too much and you take it away, they throw tantrums, because parents will use it as a way to calm their child, like a pacifier. They use it as a way to pacify their child instead of using actual pacifiers. Instead, they use it as a pacifier, to where they just sit down and be quiet, and that's it. And it's just like I said, it's a pacifier, and it's not good for the child, because then be like, oh, well, I'm crying. The parent will give them a tablet, and then they're fine. But you take away that tablet, and then they become all crying, and it's not. If they don't learn discipline or anything, because they think, oh, I'm crying, I'll get the tablet back, or like I didn't mean to do it. Like they'll get, like, the parents, they don't discipline their children as much as they do. Like if I was crying or did something bad, I'd get put in the corner. Or if I was at a restaurant and I was crying, my parents would take me to the car and just let me cry in the car. While they would stand there outside the door, I would cry in the car until I was done crying. That's discipline. Like they never whipped me or anything, or they would talk loud at me. But they would put me in the corner and I just stand there. Or they would take, if I had a device, if I was older, they would take it away, or they would take away like a toy. It taught me discipline, and I didn't really throw tantrums because I was like, oh, if I do throw this, then, I knew the outcome of it. And I think children now don't know the outcome of, like, what they're doing, because, like I said, they think it's okay to use it, or like, obsessively. And then you take it away, and boom, they start crying, and they're like, well, you're always going to use it. And that's not good. And it also helps, it prevents them from sleeping, because it prevents them from sleeping, because if they keep their tablet at night, they're going to use it, and they'll hide it, like kids. I used to have like a Nintendo or something, and I would, like kids, they would hide it, or like a PS4, like those little ones. They would hide it under the bed, and it prevents them from sleeping. But now that kids now have like the tablets, they'll keep the tablet, and it prevents them from sleeping, because they'll be on it until maybe it dies, and it probably won't be until like a while until it dies, or the parents just don't take it away, and they're like, oh well, I have it, And they never said when I have to turn it off or anything. So then they just keep it for themselves, and then they don't sleep, because they watch YouTube, or they watch Netflix, or they watch whatever, they go on social media and everything. And that's, well, I can blame myself for that, because I just don't sleep until 2, but that's my sleep schedule now. I don't sleep until 2, and that's not very good. I should probably fix that for school. But anyways, that's besides the point. Like I said, it prevents them from sleeping, and kids need sleep, because when they're sleeping, their bodies grow, their minds grow, and if their minds aren't growing, then they're not learning, or they're not taking in the information. And that's how technology nowadays can affect your learning, because scientists have proven that if a child or student or person has like a tablet in school, or has like just a tablet in general, it takes away from that hands-on learning experience. Because how now we can just search up the answers or something, and boom, we have answers, or boom, and we're not learning, we're not looking through the book, we're not reading, and the information's not going into our brain. And it's just bad, because it also takes away that hands-on learning experience, because we're not hands-on, how we used to be back in the days before technology was a thing. Like, well, when I was growing up, it was a thing, but it wasn't that big of a thing. Like, people didn't really have it. Like, they had it, but it wasn't the thing as it is now. Like, I was hands-on a lot. I had a lot of hands-on things, and I know how to do a lot of things now because of the hands-on I learned from my parents or my teachers or school in general. And it's just a great way to get hands-on, because math, you have a calculator now. Back when you were little, you didn't really have a calculator until you got much older, because math got harder and you needed a calculator to calculate square root and stuff. But now kids they use math apps where you can take a picture and it gives you the whole thing, and that's not right, because kids need to learn. They need to go through the book or watch videos and just figure out the steps for themselves, other than getting it from the internet, or not. Then they're like, oh, I don't have to pay attention in class because I'll just get it later off the internet. It's just, and it'll, like I said, it takes away that hands-on learning experience. Like science and chemistry, yeah, we have hands-on, and it's great. Like, I like chemistry and biology, and that's why I love science, because it's so hands-on, and I like being hands-on. That's why I like training, because it's hands-on, and it's fun. It's great. Like, I like training because it's hands-on, and you're working with the patient, and you get to just feel what the body's like your thighs are like just rolling out, and it's great. I recommend training or hands-on learning is just better in general than looking at a tablet all day and that's it. And then it also can reflect your actions because it reflects your actions because then you don't learn like empathy, or say you see something online and you're like, so someone else is doing it, why can't I do it? And then you see all these other people do it. Well, then if they're doing it, then it's okay if I do it. Then say like, oh, shoplifting. Well, you see it on social media and people don't get caught. You're like, I can do that. And then they go do it, and then they get caught, and then they go to jail, and it reflects on their actions. Also with kids, they're online and they see like a video, like a YouTuber buying a whole bunch of things and like, oh, that's okay, like I'll just do it, and then they use their parents' credit card and they just bought a whole lot that they don't need, and their parents get mad, and the whole thing. And then it doesn't teach the kids discipline or empathy or self reflection, because now with the click of a button you can literally buy anything, get anything, like on like in-store apps. Like my sister, like my little cousin, has technology, and that's not really good because he's one of the kids that sat at the table with the technology, and that's not very good. And me and my sister were babysitting him one time, and we gave him Sophia gave him our phone because he didn't really have anything to do, so we gave him our phone. But he had a little like a Bible game, or like there was a Disney game Sophia showed him, and with like a click of a button, he almost bought like so many gems, and he didn't even know what he was doing. He was just clicking, and it's really bad because it doesn't teach them impulse control. Like, oh well, with this click of a button, I can buy anything I want, but well, there's consequences to that, and those are people getting in trouble. And then if the parents don't know about the impulse control, then there's no discipline, and the child thinks they can do whatever they want, and they think they are entitled to anything. Also, it can increase mental illness because they see things on the internet, and then they're like teenagers now, or preteens growing up, or like 10-year-olds or something who have Instagram